this is Grace, and I would like to talk to you today about the 2018 Russian presidential election and their candidates. The first candidate is Sergei Baburin. He is 59 years old, married, and has 4 children. He is the chief researcher at the Institute for Social and Political Studies of Russia, and he's also a chief deputy. He his experience includes being on the state Duma for 3 times, as well as being predecessor of the International Slavic Council and the rector of the Russian State Trade and Economic University. The next candidate is Pavel Guridinini. He is 57 years old, married, and has 2 children. He is very much into agriculture and is the deputy of the Moscow Regional. He was Duma for 3 elections. He is also the deputy chairman of the Committee for the Development of Agro-Industrial Complex of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Russian Federation. The next one that we have is Vladimir Zhirinovsky. He is 71 years old, divorced, and has 3 children. He is a state Duma deputy for 8 elections of the State Duma, and is deputy founder and leader of the LDRP and a member of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. Next we have is Vladimir Putin. He is 65 years old, divorced, and has 2 kids. He is the interim president of the Federation of Russia as of right now, and his qualifications for running as a candidate for the presidential election is a 3-term president of this government, as well as being director of the SSB and Secretary of National Security. Next we have Ksenia Chobachak. She is 36 years old, engaged, and has 1 child. She is the leading program on Dozhd, which in English stands for rain. In the program that she's in, it's a reality TV show based off of, or with the name House 2. She is also a journalist member of the Opposition Coordination Council. The 6th candidate that we have is Maxim Suranskin, who is 39 years old, is divorced, and doesn't have any children. He is the predecessor of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Russia. He's been the secretary of the Central Committee of the Union of Communists, younger than the Russian Federation. He's the youngest. He's very young. He's the party chairman, participated in the election of the governor of Ninsk, Novograd of the Neva. The next candidate of the 2018 Russian presidential election is Boris Tietov. He is 57 years old, married with 2 children. He is authorized by the president of Russia, which would be Vladimir Putin, to protect the rights of entrepreneurs and is the company's top manager. He is also a chairman of the party, Right Wing Growth Party, and professor of the Higher School of Economics, and a member of the Public Chamber of Russia. Lastly, this 8th candidate's name is Gregory Yablovinsky. He is 65 years old, married with 2 children. He is the deputy chairman of the Council of Ministries of the RSFSR. He is 4 months of one of the founders of the leader of the party, Yabloko, deputy of the State Duma of 3 convocation, and is deputy of the Legislative Assembly in St. Petersburg, and an honorary vice president of the World Organization of Liberal and International. What I found quite interesting in the comparisons and differences of the United States presidential election in 2016 versus the Russia Federation presidential election in 2018 was the fact that during this time, the United States had only 2 options, a Democratic option and a Republican option, though there were some third-party votes, but that is not very common. Whereas in this election, there was 8 candidates showing a vast amount of political parties that are in Russia in comparison to the United States. Also, I found it quite interesting how some of these candidates were not as traditional as the United States has deemed putting their candidates into certain boxes. For instance, their president now, Vladimir Putin, he is in fact divorced, and I find that quite odd due to I don't think we've had a divorced president in the United States. That's not really something that happens. Another thing that I saw was quite interesting was the difference of ages throughout these candidates, even though some of them were indeed more on the older scale, there was definitely more variety compared to the United States 60 and up club. There seems to be there's 36-year-olds and 40-year-olds that are running for president. There is also different sexes that are in this election. As you can see, that there was a woman president candidate in Russia, but there was also a presidential candidate in the United States. All in all, I thought it was very interesting to see the differences between our political governing bodies. And that is all I have to speak with you about today. Thank you for listening, and have a nice night.